When the world feels loud, fast, and full of noise, it's hard to hear your own voice beneath it all. So in this episode, we're talking about how to tune back into yourself when everything else around you is pulling your attention outward. And I'll share some of the reasons we lose that connection in the first place and why it matters, and a few simple practices to help you reconnect with the quieter but wiser parts of yourself. So let's start with this. It's never been harder to be still. Notifications, opinion, comparisons, noise, it's constant. Even in our downtime, we're trading one form of input for another. TV, scrolling, podcasts, messages, it's endless. And it's not just distracting, it's disorientating. When your mind is always plugged in, it becomes harder and harder to actually distinguish what's yours from everything else, because we've been conditioned to seek answers outside ourselves, from experts, from influences, from trends, from templates. We're taught to ask what's working for them instead of what's right for us. And over time, this creates a split. You stop checking in with yourself, you start defaulting to external input. And then one day you realize you've lost contact with your inner voice entirely. And that's when the questions creep in, like, why don't I feel excited anymore? Why does everything feel a little off, a little boring? Why can't I make a simple decision without doubting myself? It's not a mindset problem, it's not a motivation problem, it's the result of being so outwardly focused that your inner compass has gone quiet. But here's the good news. Your inner voice isn't gone, it's just waiting for some peace, a bit of space to be able to be heard. So let's talk about what actually helps with that. Number one, create intentional silence. Not just quiet, but silence from input. And intentional silence means no background noise, no passive content, no multitasking, just space. Space for your nervous system to reset. Space for your thoughts to emerge. Space for your body to catch up with your brain. It might be 5 minutes sitting with your coffee before reaching for your phone in the morning, or a solo walk without your headphones, or driving without a podcast, or laying on the bed and staring at the ceiling. Apparently Albert Einstein's best ideas came when he was aimless and literally staring at the ceiling. So if it's good enough for him, I would argue that these quiet times are essential. In fact, the popularity of the nervous system reset programs all over the internet, as I see messages on Instagram about them all the time, shows just how urgent this is becoming. We're collectively overstimulated and we're paying the price. In silence, something shifts. You begin to hear what's really going on beneath the surface. You might notice a tension in your shoulders that you've been ignoring. You might feel a sadness that's been bubbling away unnoticed. Or you might hear the idea you've been trying to think your way into for weeks. Silence reconnects you with your own rhythm, because most of us are living on borrowed pace, rushing here and there because everybody else is rushing. But when you slow down, you start to sense your own timing again. And that's how you begin to come home to yourself. The second thing is practice internal listening. Silence is the doorway, but listening is what you do once you're through it. Internal listening is about paying attention to your body, your emotions, your instincts, without judgment. You sit with what's there. You notice if there's an urge to fix it coming up, to change it, to explain it, and you pause. This might look like noticing your chest tightens every time you open your inbox, or realizing that you feel more alive after 10 minutes drawing than you did after a whole day of ticking things off your to-do list. Or it might be acknowledging that you're bored, not tired. And these realizations are powerful, because once you hear them, you can respond, you can adjust, you can make choices that actually reflect what you need. And the third thing is to stop outsourcing your knowing. This one's uncomfortable but necessary, because we all do it. We check Google, we poll a friend, we scroll for answers, we follow the rules, we collect advice. And there's nothing wrong with gathering input, but when it becomes a substitute for self-trust, you start living reactively. You make choices based on consensus, not by following your own compass. And the antidote is practice. You don't rebuild your inner knowing overnight. You do it decision by decision. Start with the small things. What do I feel like eating? What would feel good to wear today? Do I actually want to go to that event? Then listen. Act on what you hear. Watch what happens. Your inner voice grows louder when you show her she matters. And fourthly, notice your input, because your ability to hear is directly impacted by what you consume. If your day is full of noise, constant content, opinions, stimulation, it's like trying to hear a whisper in a nightclub. So ask, what's cluttering my mental space? What do I keep watching or reading that makes me feel worse? Where am I numbing instead of noticing? At a recent Toastmasters meeting, I heard a lovely talk that really struck a chord. This was just a couple of weeks ago. The speaker shared how in her 20s she suffered from real life-altering anxiety, and through reflection she traced it back to her daily news consumption. The constant bombardment of negativity had shaped how she saw herself, others, and the world through a lens of fear and distrust. She noticed that the coverage often seemed designed to amplify division, outrage, and suspicion. And when she made the conscious decision to stop consuming it, her mental health started to improve. The anxiety that once felt constant began to ease as her inner world grew more quiet. And as I said, that talk really stuck with me because I feel that. I try to stay away from the news. But you don't need to go on a digital detox or completely stay away from the news or social media or all of that stuff. But you do need to create space for your own voice. And that might mean turning off notifications, unfollowing accounts that make you doubt yourself or make you compare yourself to others and feel lacking. Deleting apps from your phone from a week or using an app blocker. Or it can mean protecting your mornings from input so you can actually feel what's present before you let the world in. So here's my invitation for you today. Take 5 minutes, just 5, no phone, no sound, no goals. Sit, walk, lie down, whatever works, but don't fill the space. And then ask, what's here that I've been too busy to notice? And let the answer come. Don't force it, just listen. You might hear nothing. You might realize you're fine. You might finally exhale as your nervous system relaxes. That's the point. It's not about extracting insight. It's about reconnecting to a state where your own presence is enough. Because when you can hear yourself again, you make clearer decisions. You feel more anchored. If this resonates, this is exactly the kind of work we do inside the Purposeful Path. We go beyond surface goals and help you rebuild the inner connection that creates lasting alignment. You can learn more in the link in the description below. And if this video helps you in even slightly to feel more grounded or more centered, or if you learned anything from it, I'd love if you'd hit the like button and subscribe, and also hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And I will see you in the next video where we will be exploring the comparison between success that looks good versus success that actually feels good. So I will see you then.